Hey, Monkey community. Hope everyone's doing great here on this Tuesday. What an exciting day for the project. We are at around 400,000 market cap right now, up 28% over the last 24 hours. I think the highest I saw it was about 450,000 earlier in the day before a slight pullback here, but Monkey's definitely looking good. We had some big buys coming in, and we'll look at that in a bit here. But so it's another green day. I think this is the third or fourth green day in a row. The market overall is doing well. Bitcoin's looking good. And so this is extremely bullish for our bags and excited to see what the next couple of months hold for us. And I just want to point out it's not chance at this point or divine intervention now. I think overall it is, right? But the chance or the luck or divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, happened when we stumbled upon Monkey in the first place. And I think that's key is that Monkey is a great coin and it's a great coin to hold. But now that we hold it and we know the potential and the setup is perfect with the great top holders and the memeable content and this great history that we have on the chart, the cleaning out of the holders, all that's already happening right now. We just hold a great coin. And so I wouldn't say there's no chance, but we're just waiting for the catalyst. We know what we hold, and we have the ability to work our bags and chill. And I think the velocity with which we send has a lot to do with our actions as holders now, whether we hold or take profits or chill, stop chilling, stop the memes. We can control in some ways the outcome here. And I think that's key is we need to decide as a community how far we're going to take this. And my philosophy is let's just buy and hold and chill and keep on working it and let's head to the billions. And everyone's got different goals, but I think we can all agree that we're going a lot higher than 400,000. And so let's just lock it in, keep going, encourage each other, and let's just all hold. That's what I'm going to do, and we have the opportunity to make this happen. All right, I wanted to just show you real quick, kind of exciting. Bryce and I were messaging about it. My DCA bag is in the green finally. You can see here, I've been buying 60 something days now, started at 750,000 and just been buying a bit each day. And this period here where there's heavy accumulation around the 200,000 market cap really helped and got the average buy price or fill price down to 340,000. And so it's nice to see it finally back in the green here. And that was low emotion trading. I literally just said, I'm going to buy every single day. Bought a little bit each day. I didn't care about the price. If the price was lower, I'd get more monkey. If it's higher, great. And it worked out well. So this just shows the power of DCA. Not necessarily fun buying this whole time when it's gradually going down, but we know what we hold. We know it's eventually going to go back up. That average fill price gets lower, and then you end up really quickly in the green. And that's the power of dollar cost averaging. And I also want to talk about where we're at with Monkey. We're so incredibly early on this great project. We're at 400,000 market cap, and I wanted to talk about Bitcoin. And everyone says, "Wow, I wish I could had bought Bitcoin in 2011 when it was $9, right?" And we all wish that, knowing what we know now about it. But I mentioned it before. How many of us honestly would have held this whole time, all the way to this point? We wouldn't, right? I mean, even in this flat part here on the chart where it looks like nothing's happening, it goes from, $3 in October to $500, a few years later, and everything in between, $700, 1,000. I mean, would you have not taken the 200x or whatever that is? I think most of us would have, and it would have been a great trade, right? But not many of us would have held this whole time through all these ups and downs. And I point that out not to compare Monkey to Bitcoin, But I think the early nature of Monkey is definitely something we can compare to Bitcoin. I think we're incredibly early at 400,000, and I think there are folks that will take that 10x at 4 million from here, or even the 100x at 40 million. And I wouldn't blame you, right? We all have different goals. But I want to point out, I think we're going much higher than that, and we have the ability to. It just depends on our resolve, our conviction, and how long we hold as a community. And I think that is the key difference between Monkey and the other projects, is that we have the potential with the holders we have to hold and chill and do something really special here. So I'm hoping we can do that. And again, I don't want anyone to say AG Crypto told me to round trip a bag or anything like that. You have to do what's right for you, and everyone's situation is different. But I'm telling you, my personal philosophy is let's hold and see how high we can go, and then sell based on your own convictions about when to take profits and all that. All right, let's look at the top wallets real quick. Um, just to recap what I'm doing here, I first got the day one was January 2nd, the first time I did it, and this is kind of the snapshot, and this is what we're comparing everything to, and this is where we saw 41% or almost 42% of the supply is held by large holders with at least 0.5%, and the majority of those are diamond handing, meaning they've held it for a long time, and then we've been comparing it periodically to this. So if we look at today's January 6th compared to January 2nd, we can see some interesting things here. So first of all, the net change from day one, you can see here is plus, so an inflow of 26 million to these top wallets. Some of these are new wallets. We saw a couple big buys come in today. These two were the big ones, I think. And these are new wallets. But even if you take those out, it's an inflow of almost 8 million over the last 4 days. And you see some that have gone down a bit over the last 4 days, maybe taking some profits. But the vast majority of folks are just holding without selling at all or adding. And so that's a net inflow, even as we've doubled in market cap. So folks aren't taking profits here at a 2x from the bottom, which makes sense. And I think we can keep that going and really send in a parabolic way because of the resolve of the core community here. All right, let's look at X here and see some of the posts. Xerox Bossman says increasingly the issue with meme coins is everyone is trying to become a dev. Liquidity in the trenches died up fast, maybe it meant dried up fast. So many are finding it to be negative EV to ape into place. So they think, why not launch their own? This creates a problem. Too many projects, people turn friends into exit liquidity, and liquidity dries up even more. I'm bearish on anyone doing this. You're simply not looking hard enough. There's always a better way to print. While this is problematic, this is one of the reasons coins like Pepe, Fartcoin, Pengu, and SPX have been sending recently. Is because liquidity has dried up so much in lower caps that more established coins become a lot more attractive for people looking to deploy serious capital. My belief for the rest of the cycle is that high caps will outperform, while spending all your time in the trenches with everyone becoming a dev will be negative EV. Stop being a cuck and return to simplicity. So I like this post. This is a good post. I want to add something here though, because he said that lower caps. And I think what I would do, not to correct the post here, but I would swap out lower caps for new pairs here. Low cap doesn't mean that they're going to be draining liquidity and that type of thing, right? Because we have Monkey. And I would even go a step further and say, yes, these are established coins here that are the high caps, and they're doing quite well. So I get that. But we can also take the thesis here and apply it to establish low cap coins like Monkey, right? For the same reason these are popular, Monkey can be popular for those of us that don't have a ton of capital to deploy. So I think staying away from the new pairs and not messing around the trenches unless you know what you're doing is wise. But I think rotating to quality low caps with established communities like Monkey makes sense. And I think Monkey and coins like this, the established portfolio coins, will outperform. And I think these percentage wise will outperform the large high cap coins. Obviously, these aren't going to run, fart coin's not necessarily going to give you an 1000x like Monkey can. Mirage says, well, my favorite coins have been consolidating. At the bottom, I have refrained from shilling them much because I want the tokens to be in the hands of real ones rather than those who only buy simply because someone with followers on the internet suggested they do so. I agree with this. I'm happy that Monkey had the long accumulation period where the top holders could add more. We could onboard the right type of people that look for value and understand the value of community. And so I agree that, there's a time for calls, which is later. And I think, I can't remember who I was chatting with this about, maybe Monkey Flip or Bryce or both. We're talking about the timing of getting the calls and the big bags and the big names in. It might be a blessing that they're not in now. And we just have this kind of, personal touch with the community where we're the ones holding a lot of the supply right now. We're the whales. And the coals can come in later and they definitely play a part. And we definitely shield to them and we want them to buy eventually. But I think it's been perfect that we've had all this time to accumulate and hopefully lock up the supply in hands of diamond hand folks and not folks just out to make a quick buck like Mirage says here. Chrissy had a good post here. Watching the chart too much on a sub 1 million coin is not worth it in my opinion if you know it has the potential to eventually be in the multi-millions. 2 to 3 people can move price a lot in that range and it only needs one catalyst to outprice them. Sub 1 million is about building a foundation, community and content. Price follows after with the right catalyst. So well said. And we've been saying this is we don't need to watch the chart so closely because we know the potential of Monkey. Of course, it's great to see the green. That proves the coin's not dead. And a lot of people need that in order to buy. They're worried that everything's just going to go to zero. We hear that all the time, or that the coin's dead. We know Monkey's not dead as members of the community, but some folks need to see green in order to know that it's not dead. So, but I agree. We don't need to watch the chart right now. It can move so much. It goes up and down, and I think this can be a good reset of our mindset. We can see, hey, it can go from 200,000 to 450,000 really quickly. And what that makes me want to do is if it ever dips back down again to add more, knowing that it's not dead and that eventually it's going to run. And I think one of these pumps, whether it's this one or the next one or later on, we're going to absolutely break out. And so that's the mindset I'm taking is any dip from here on out is an opportunity to accumulate because we know the potential and we know where we're going. Eddie had a post here. This coin already made a ton of millionaires and somehow everyone forgot about it. In 2026, it will print new millionaires again. Still solid community, rating and working for the bag, mostly US and EU holders. I am buying the bottom. It's so obvious, claim the free bag. And this is, he didn't put the top of the chart in that has the name, but we know this is Monkey because of the market cap and then also the unique Alon wick. Remember, this is when Alon bought Monkey in his doxed wallet and it spiked up to 18 million. And so he's definitely talking about Monkey here. And I agree with what he's saying here. This was the bottom. This is the bottom. I think we're still close to the bottom even after the pump. And it's so obvious. It's free at this point. The community is solid. Everything he says here is true. So shout out to Eddie. He's still holding, and he said that in his Telegram. Who posted that? Bryce or Montana? Sorry, I'm gonna not give credit to the right person, but one of those guys I think posted that he said in his Telegram, "Good morning, Monkey, looking good here. Still fully holding. Bought even more in the past couple of weeks." So shout out to Eddie. He's still holding. He's been holding a long time and doing it right, in my opinion. And he knows the potential here of Monkey. We're talking about some of the big buys that came in. So one of them was a Uranus whale that bought about 3,700K or 3,700, I should say, of Monkey at 369,000 market cap. And so it's a good sign when these whales start coming in. You can see this got a good number of impressions. Folks start copying the whales, right? Because the whales know what they're doing. They somehow got a whale bag. So this makes complete sense. Mickley posted a clip from Thread Guy. Thread Guy explains why crypto's biggest problem is there's no good coins to bid. Everyone thinks we need to onboard people to buy our trash. The actual take is that we need more good coins to buy. There isn't a marketing problem or a liquidity problem. There's a good coins problem. And so I think Monkey solves that. It's a pure meme. It's a cute animal, great community, old school community, bag working community. And I think the monkey community, we're just regular people, right? We're not pros or insiders or anything like that. We just are folks that came together. We love monkey and we're trying to make it. So I think it's a return to good narratives like monkey, good solid coins, good communities that Thread Guy's talking about here. And I think it's good memes are going to be what eventually push things and what gets retail involved. And I think running monkey up to the millions now is going to make it a lot more attractive for folks that are just looking for some quality to invest in. Don says most people lose money not because they were wrong, but because they lacked patience. The real edge in crypto isn't speed, leverage, or hype. It's conviction plus time. Stay positioned, let the cycle work for you. This is exactly how I feel about Monkey right now. We're in position. Like I said, the chance is taken out of the equation. We already found Monkey. We know it's good. We know the community is good. Now it's patience and conviction, bag working, and just let time work for us here. And we want to stay on it though and keep working and keep the excitement up, keep the mind share up. And I think over time, with the conviction we have, I think it's inevitable that we run. Andy Leon says small steps today, build crypto's giant tomorrow. I think we're doing that with Monkey. We're taking a small step each day, getting that time in, getting the mind share up. And it was nice to see the green over the last couple days just to kind of prove to us that the conviction's paying off. Another post from Chrissy, don't rotate out of your conviction plays to chase daily runners. 99% of the time that doesn't end good. The first time I ran myself to zero was exactly like this by chasing quick gains and over rotation. Focus on sizing into good and high potential coins which you are willing to hold for a longer period of time. Totally agree. I sleep well holding Monkey, and that's been my philosophy with the coin. Anytime I look to buy something new, inevitably Monkey looks better because of the low market cap, and I just add more Monkey, and it makes sense. It's the bag that I'm working the hardest, right? So I think that's the key. Buy and hold. Don't chase daily runners. You're not going to end up working hard for those daily runners necessarily. You're just hoping to catch one. I hope you do catch one, then you can rotate back into Monkey, or you could just avoid it altogether and just buy Monkey and hold it. Buy it regularly. It takes the motion out of it. That's worked well for me. Jakey says the pump fund comeback will be studied, and we know Jakey's a Solana slash pump fund guy, and I think that's a big wild card. What if Elon and pump funds start releasing stuff and pumping our pumpfolio bags? I think that could happen as this bull run hopefully is kicking off. More money flows into crypto. Bitcoin starts pumping. Elon and the boys could come back and do something special here. So we'll see how they come back. Bitcoin Magazine says Senator John Kennedy says crypto market structure legislation markup will happen next week. So we're getting closer to seeing that passed, and that again legitimizes crypto and should make banks and other investors who are more cautious feel comfortable investing in crypto. Johnny says generational run loading. You just have to want it enough. This is how I feel with Monkey. So happy to see all the excitement on the timeline. We need to keep that up. We need to really focus and keep our foot on the gas. And I think we're gonna make it. We're gonna have a generational run here. We saw a little bit of the foreshadowing of it in the last couple of days, how quickly it can run with just a couple buys. Then you get that momentum, you get the FOMO, then you get the folks that were holders before that are monkey line coming back in, and it's kind of this flywheel, for lack of a better term, that just gains momentum. And so I think we have that generational run in us. We just have to want it and work hard for it. Andy Leon, on the same note, says early days, massive opportunities, stay building, friends. We're so early on crypto, so early on Monkey, and we have a huge opportunity here. So let's keep on building and keep up the good work out there, Shilling. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.